John Cena, who I would say is the king of original streaming films, has another one for Amazon. This one teams him up with Idris Elba. Let's talk about Heads of State. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie review for a new Amazon Prime original film, Heads of State. John Cena, this is already his third original in just 2 years for Amazon. He starred in Ricky Stenicki, he starred in Jackpot with Awkwafina, and he also had the Vacation Friends movies on Hulu. I mean, he's always doing original films. I think there was a Netflix one in there too. But look, the guy works hard, but the majority of these movies have not been great, and I'll put it out there before we even get to the review portion. I think this is the worst one yet. So we'll talk about Heads of State here in just a moment. First, though, let me welcome you back to Dan Reviews It. If you're a subscriber already, thank you so much for that, and thank you for returning to check out my content. But if you're not, please consider subscribing. Click the notification bell down below there, and that will alert you to all my new video drops. And of course, just liking this video or commenting below helps the channel out tremendously. All right, so Heads of State is the latest. He plays the U.S. President, Will Derringer, who is an action movie star. Think kind of like a cross between, when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor, and then, of course, Donald Trump, currently president, and, Ronald Reagan in the 80s, an old actor. So I think this character is sort of an amalgamation of all of that, but I think largely they're sort of building off the Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff, even though he could not legally be president because he wasn't born in this country, but I think that's mainly where they're going. This movie is not a skewer of Trump, which is fine. I think we have enough of that, including the real world. But so I think that's kind of what they want us to think more about in this situation. But anyway, we have Idris Elba then as UK Prime Minister Sam Clark. The two of them do not get along, have a very public rivalry, but they have to set aside their differences and even rely on each other after they were both on Air Force One and it was shot down. So they have to go on a dangerous mission with enemies trying to kill them. And they have the help of MI6 agent Noel Bissett, played by Priyanka Chopra Jonas. So they all must work together, the three of them, to thwart a global conspiracy to threaten the world. Well, if you're already bored and think that synopsis is like, oh man, I've seen this story a million times, you really, really have. Okay, so let's talk about why this movie's so bad, because I already said, that I think it's the worst of all of the John Cena original films. None of them, I think, have been particularly great. I would say Jackpot is probably the best of the ones in recent years. Ricky Stenicki was okay. The Vacation Friends movies, I think, mean well, but don't ever really get off the ground. And this one is just an all-around mess. And John Cena is a charismatic dude. When he's in something that works, like the Peacemaker series, for example, he's great. And he's always got that charisma. So I can't necessarily say anything specifically about his performance. It's just a terrible script, and they're just retreading all of this ground. But even if this were, let's say, a slightly more original kind of take, the CGI is god-awful, and almost every scene has it because there's all of these action sequences, and, the green screen is on full display. I mean, that should get its own credit, because almost every scene, whether they're on a train, whether they're, running from something, it's like, it's all CGI. So, and badly done. So that's number one. Number two, the dialogue is just horrible. These corny one-liners, and maybe they were meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek. Obviously Arnold is famous for his catchphrases and sort of his puns, and they make that a facet of the John Cena character. He loves a good pun, and he continually does them, much to Idris Elba's chagrin. And look, I like Idris Elba too, but these two can't save this movie. And I will admit, the maybe one good thing about it, I won't even say maybe, the one good thing about it is that they have good chemistry together. They are clearly, playing off of each other well. But there's so much wrong with this movie, they just can't save it from that alone. The soundtrack choices are so tried and true. How many times can we hear Sabotage by the Beastie Boys over an action sequence? I mean, 20 times maybe in the last 25, 30 years. I mean, it's like they picked the most obvious song choices and just went with them every time. So that's terrible. Priyanka Chopra Jonas, she can't really act. But I get it. She's beautiful. So let's put her in this action movie. Give the dudes, something to salivate over. Sure. But she can't really act. So the script does certainly no favors for her. And just the plot is so paper thin. We've seen it 100 times. So look, I don't think we need to belabor the point. This movie stinks, but I will say, I like to go on Rotten Tomatoes and kind of gauge, okay, am I in the majority here? Am I crazy? This movie has a 73% with critics and a 74% with audiences, and that blows my mind. I mean, when I think about some of the movies that have like 40% that I thought were like either okay or whatever, or even liked maybe, this is such a terrible movie. It just blows my mind that critics would find something redeeming about this. If you want to watch a sort of mindless movie, action movie on a streamer about a president, I would recommend G20. It has some similar faults, but came together a lot better for me. That's a recent one with Viola Davis, and that just recently came out. I didn't grade it very high. I think it's probably a C minus maybe, but I would watch that 3 times over this. I leave Heads of State with an F. It's easily one of the worst movies of the year. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. I'll see you next time. Bye.